Good. What is it? Raina? Yorktown. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is, the name of the gentleman who believes that life, liberty, and the property. Who's the guy behind life, liberty, and property? Good. Who is it? Krishma. John Locke. All right, here we go. We got a lot to do. Okay, so yesterday we started covering the American Revolution. The American Revolution is going to be the first revolution of its kind. It shouldn't have occurred. Fine, it could have occurred. It probably shouldn't have been won. Hopefully, I told you the odds didn't really make sense for us to do it. However, obviously it did, and I think we're all grateful. Gunner. No, I know. I'm getting there. All right, so the French Revolution. So it is important that you understand that there are serious financial problems in France. Who can raise their hand and tell me what is one big reason why there's huge financial problems in France? Abby. They fought in the American Revolution. What is another major reason, Patrick? Yes, he was spending crazy money. Okay? He was spending crazy money, lost a huge bet to the King of Sweden, all that stuff. They also lived very, very, very well in the Palace of Versailles. Now, we've talked about Versailles in passing. My brother is actually going there today, which is a fun fact. He might be there right now since they're like 6 hours ahead or 8 hours ahead or whatever it is. Anyway, with that being said, okay, they're going to live very, very comfortably. All the wealthy do. The poor is not living so well. It is going to be a more radical revolution. Did we talk about that yesterday? Perfect. So let's talk about some other reasons. The Estates General, put a star, is another major reason. So 3 causes of the French Revolution. American Revolution, overspending by the crown, and the Estates General is unfair. Why is the Estates General unfair? First of all, the Estates General is the assembly of the French government. What that means, the people are represented. Isn't that nice? You would say, hey, that sounds nice. Well, the Estates General has 3 estates, and you need to know the 3 estates. Okay? The first estate, and I'm writing it right here, so you can just copy it down. The first estate is the king and clergy. Okay? They get 1 vote. So, you're talking about 1%, and that's incredibly gracious. Okay? Your second estate is going to be your lords / nobles. Okay? They are 2% of France's population. They get 1 vote. Then you have the third estate. And that is everyone else. They get 1 vote, and they are 97% of the population. Who can raise their hand and tell me how many votes the Estates General cast? Let's do some math here. Brian, do you got this? Do you want to think twice about it? How many votes are in the Estates General? Oh my God. Yes, there are 3 votes. Who loses every time? The people. So, if the people were losing every single time because the king is going to get whatever the hell he wants, and if it's good for the king, it's probably damn good for the nobles, correct? Okay? The people are going to get incredibly frustrated with nothing that they want is going to work. So we're going to eventually have this thing called the tennis court accords where the people say, and we're out, and they go to the tennis court and say, let's revolt. And they're like, yeah, let's do that. And then they walk out, and then they start the French Revolution here going. So, the Estates General does not meet very often. Okay, the king asked for more money. He lost a very big bet to the King of Sweden, so he's like, let's get the Estates General in here. He knew it was a card he could pull from his pocket and get whatever the hell he wants, correct? So he pulled the card from his pocket and says, let's get the Estates General. And he was like, clergy, I need money. Give me money. So the king and the clergy, first estate, second estate, voted to give the king money. How do we think the people responded? Not well. So they go to the tennis court. They're like, screw this. We're going. We're fighting back. And ta-da, French Revolution. So, 3 causes, States General is a big one. Okay, so 1789, he goes to the States General to raise money for taxes to pay off his debts because of his gambling. Third estate demands we need better conditions. Absolutely not. And then June, the third estate succeeds, and they create a thing called the National Assembly. You need to say third estates fail, and they create the National Assembly. Can anyone raise their hand today and tell me what we call the body of people who run France today? What do we think? No, not Parliament. That's England. What? National Assembly. Yes. Except the National Assembly gets disbanded and then puts back in power after Napoleon, but we'll get back to it. So the National Assembly is created. Okay. July, the mob attacked the Bastille. You need to write down, the mob attacked the Bastille in July. Put a big star. This is the actual official kickoff of the French Revolution, as in blood. And in France today, does anyone know what day it is? What day is it? July 14th. I thought it was like the 5th. Is it the 14th? There we go. So, it's in July, right after our Independence Day. And it's called French Independence Day. Okay? They have fireworks. I don't think they like barbecue. Seems like a pretty American thing to do. Maybe they eat like snails or something fancy. I don't know. But Bastille Day is the official kickoff of the French Revolution. You do need to know that. Alright, so after they have stormed the Bastille, they're like, oh crap, we're doing this. Has anyone seen that god-awful movie called Les Mis? No? Good for you. It's 3 hours. You can never get back. By the way, they sing the entire time. The entire time. I have to go to the bathroom. They sing it. It's so annoying. It is so annoying. Anyway, if you watch Les Mis, which I'm not suggesting, already said you can't get those 3 hours back, it's covering this time period. When they storm the Bastille, they start the fortifications, you got the tennis court, accords, where all the stuff happens. So if you decide to ruin your life for 3 hours, do it. Russell Crowe sings in it, so that's awkward. But yeah, Declaration of Rights of Man is done after Bastille Day, when they storm the Bastille. This is their Declaration of Independence. Do we see how they're paying homage to the Declaration of Independence? Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen? Yes? Okay? Everything the American Revolution does, the French try to mimic. The language of the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen. By the way, you need to know. I would write that down. There's a test question on it. I just saw it. Okay? So, what is it? It is obviously influenced by the American Revolution. Every revolution is influenced by the American. They were the first. We are the first. It's the equality of men. No women. Why would women need rights? Men take such great care of us, right? Oh, wonderful. Okay? And then we're going to see that sovereignty resides in the people. What that means is the king derives power from the people. The people actually control the power. This is also called what? Who can raise their hand and tell me? What is it called when power derives from the people? What's a fancy term we use for it, Abby? Popular sovereignty. This is an Enlightenment idea. So we're seeing these ideas that were in books are now transitioning into actual government. And we're talking about individual rights. In France, you have no individual rights pre-French Revolution. What that means is if the king decrees, I'm taking your land, guess what? King gets your land. Okay? So now we start having individual rights, which is, okay? Your quote of the French Revolution is liberty, equality, fraternity. It's all about the men. Can we tell? They don't give a crap about the women. It's fine, I guess. Okay, so you need to know that quote. That's their rallying cry. Okay? So the National Assembly abolishes the old social order. What is the old social order? Think about it. When we talk about social order, what do we think it is? It's medieval, darlings. What is it? Kings, then lords, then nobles, then knights, and all that stuff. Yes? That social hierarchy is still in France. They abolish it. What do you think what do you think happens to all the people who are knights, nobles, and all that stuff? Do you think they're going to transition easily into this, or they're going to go pretty hard? Hello? They're going to crash into it pretty damn hard. Eventually, they're all going to be executed, which is pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Okay, so we're going to see that. We're going to start seeing that they're going to reject religion. Write that down, because when Napoleon comes into play, it's a big deal. They reject all religion, Protestant and Catholic. It kind of makes sense to a degree. They say that religion divides people. We are a new society. We don't want to be divided. Kind of makes sense. Can we agree? But do you think that's an easy transition or a hard transition? Very hard transition. It's going to be one of the reasons it collapses. They also change the calendar, because this is like a new world kind of thing. They go from 12 months to 16 months. They go from 7 days a week to 9. 9. Could you imagine? 9 days? That'd be like 7 days of school and maybe a couple days off. You know, that'd be terrible. Anyway, it retains King's Convention. King Louis and Marie Antoinette are going to be found guilty, and they're going to be executed and sent to the guillotine. It's important that you know that their children are executed as well, but they're shot in the head. They're not executed publicly, so why do they have to kill the kids? You can raise your hand and tell me why we got to kill the kids. Patrick. Yeah, of course. If you have if Marie Antoinette and King Louis's kids are running around, don't they have a claim to the throne? Hello? So you got to kill the kids. They had 5 kids together. So, fun fact. All right. So, we have the French Revolution. Okay? That's it. So, the first major event of the French Revolution is what we call the French Revolution. Okay? What year does it kick off, people? 1789. And it's going to kick off with Bastille Day officially, correct? The Bastille. I don't know if that's how you spell it. So, this happens. The king is executed. Essentially, the French Revolution, king and queen, they die. They're executed. That's the official end of the French Revolution. Then we start a whole new period. Okay? So the French Revolution has occurred. Now we're into the second phase of the French Revolution. It's called the Reign of Terror. Reign of Terror. And it's led by Maximilian Robespierre. Okay, so he leads the public safety. So what he does is that he runs around, okay, and he decides whether you're an enemy of the state or a friend of the state. Now, if you're in a government that tries to find the enemy of the state by putting people on public trial and then executing them about 2 hours later, how well do you think this is going to go? It's not going to go well. Okay? So, the French Revolution only kills essentially 2 people that we really care about, which is the king and queen. Under the Reign of Terror, we're going to execute about 10,000 nobles and their family. Why do we have to kill the kids? We got to stop the bloodline. Absolutely. So people just think about the French Revolution killing the grown-ups. We got to kill the kids. We got to end the bloodline. So what would happen is Robespierre would be like, oh my God, Karishma is an enemy of the state. Within 2 hours of the verdict, Karishma would be standing in front of the what? What? Oh, I thought you said martini. I was like, no. Damn. If that's to be an enemy of the state, you get martinis. Hell yes. All right, guillotine. Yes, within 2 hours, Karishma is on that guillotine. Clunk, head cut off. It's in a basket. Everyone cheers. It happened every day at 2 o'clock. Every day at 2 o'clock. They were executing people in the streets for 5 years. I guess towards the end it probably wasn't maybe every day, maybe just like every Tuesday, Thursday. You know what I mean? Really celebrate the day kind of thing. Because they were running out of people to kill. They're going to execute about 40,000 people. They're executing 40,000 people. This is only in the country of France, people. That's not a big country, okay? We're going to have over 300,000 people in prison. Okay? Now, when we talk about, now, you do understand that when you go to foreign countries, you have to abide by those foreign laws, correct? So, for instance, this summer I'm going to France. When I'm in France, I have to follow French law or I go to French jail. I can't say, but I'm American. And they're going to be like, oh my God, of course, it's fine. And that's not how it works. French prisons are not particularly nice. And you get sent to prison first, and then they try to build evidence against you. Also, fun fact. Okay? So, French prisons, especially back there, most of the people are going to be dying in French prison. We don't even count them as die. We just count them as an oopsie. So, we're not really sure how many people died in prison. We know 300,000 people were imprisoned and didn't die. We have no idea how many people actually did die in prison because it was like, ah, shucks. Damn. Okay? So, we have then created the directory. Now, the Reign of Terror, what you need to know is three things. Okay? Maximilian is a very big deal. You need to know they're executing people. I think that's not hard to remember with the Reign of Terror. But the other big thing is you need to know that they create the directory. Okay? And the directory is when, okay, men take power in the form of the directory. Okay? This is a board to make political decisions. Okay, here in the United States, we have three branches of government. After the French Revolution, during the Reign of Terror, we create the directory, and that's supposed to run France. Okay? Now, with the directory in place, they're making all the big decisions, and it's men from all different backgrounds. Do you think it's really poor people, though? No, it's well-to-do. So, I think we can agree, at this point, the idea behind the French Revolution gets a little blurred in the Reign of Terror. Can we agree? People, like for instance, me and Walker don't get along. Like we actually really hate each other. So like I would go to the French government and be like, oh my God, Walker. Let me tell you about him. He loves the king. He has a little shrine room in his house about the king. He's a complete enemy of the state. So guess what's going to happen to my boy Walker? He's going to be executed. So people are just killing good people who believe in the revolution and all that stuff. It's just a terrible time period. Would you want to live during the French Revolution? No, you wouldn't, because it's terrifying. So, people are scared, people are terrified, and then this guy named Napoleon shows up. Okay, so Napoleon is a military service kind of guy. He started in the military at the age of like 13. His parents signed him up because he's from a poor family. So he signs up for the military like 13 or 14. And he rises to fame really, really quickly because of his bravery on the battlefield. Napoleon is a lot of things, but he is truly a military genius. Truly. Okay? With that being said, he rises to fame and becomes very popular in France because even during this chaos of Reign of Terror, Napoleon's doing incredible things on the field. So, what's going to happen, because he's so damn popular and people really hate this whole directory thing, guess what he does? He takes it over. He's like, hell yeah, everyone loves me. Why don't I just become the King of France? So, the third stage of the French Revolution is Napoleon. So when people talk about the French Revolution, it's not all under one umbrella. It goes French Revolution, Reign of Terror, and a guy named Napoleon. All right, to the boards. Here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the quotes? What is the battle cry for the French Revolution? What is the battle cry of the French Revolution? Good. Elizabeth. Liberty, equality, fraternity. On your whiteboard, please tell me which one is more radical, American or French? Good. What is it, Sarah? French. On your whiteboard, please tell me what increased taxes because of the French Revolution, which will lead to the start. What body of government created increased taxes in order to pay for the American Revolution? This will lead to the French Revolution. What do we got? Dylan. Estates General. Because we're going to have the estates later, you need to have Estates General. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of, the body of government in the Reign of Terror, which will eventually be overthrown by Napoleon. Good. What is it, Carlota?
Directory.
Directory. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is, how many votes are in the Estates General? Good. Daniel?
3.
3. On your whiteboard, please tell me who was specifically left out during the French Revolution. Who was gone well out of the way to be left out? Please don't. Thanks. Cade, women, on your whiteboard, please tell me what is it called when the power of government comes from the people? What is that fancy term we use for it? Good. What do we call it, Patrick? Popular sovereignty. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the dude who leads the Reign of Terror? Oh, by the way, he actually he gets murdered by the guillotine because he's called an enemy of the state. Isn't that great? He gets literally executed because people find him to be an enemy of the state. It's fantastic. I love the French Revolution. We're killing everybody. Walker, who is it? Yes, Maximilian Robespierre. We got to go by last name if we're going to say one. Okay, so Napoleon comes into power. Here we go. Now Napoleon comes into power. He's first a general. He's first a popular general. He's first a popular general, and then overthrows the Directory and creates the consulate. Okay, so Napoleon, very popular because of his ability to wage war. Then he overthrows and creates a brand new type of government. It's going to be called the consulate. Don't worry, he does this for 2 years. The consulate is 2 men, of course, making decisions for all of France. So he does this with a buddy of his, but guess what? He doesn't really like sharing power. No one called Napoleon like sharing power. So what he does is he then crowns himself Emperor of France in 1802. Okay, so he creates the consulate. It's 2 people leading. Okay, then he gets bored with it, and then he names himself Emperor of France in 1802. Do you think the people like this or hate this? No, they love it. The people of France love Napoleon. Even still to this day, they love Napoleon. Okay, it's very ironic. Think about it. The French Revolution is all about democratic Enlightenment ideals, correct? So they overthrow their whole country. They go super extreme into it, super hardcore into it. How does it really pan out for them? Good or bad? Bad, because it ushers in the Reign of Terror, which is absolutely horrifying and a terrible time to be alive. Okay? So when a guy comes in and he says, hey, I can make this better. How about I just do things? Everyone's like, oh, thank God. Yes. He's a poor kid who is leading France. It's growth. Not quite the democratic path, one would assume, but it is growth. So, a couple of the big things you need to know Napoleon accomplished. First of all, he creates the Concordat. Concordat with Pope. So, what religion? What sect? Catholic. Okay? Which means, okay, its limitations on Catholicism. Is that a big step or no? Hello? Is that a good step for the people or a good step for the church? Limitations on Catholicism, how is that good for the church? If the church could do whatever the hell it wanted, is that a good thing? Hello? If you could do whatever the hell you wanted, like for instance, if you wanted to punch me in the face, you could get up right now and punch me in the face to me getting up and saying, oh, thank you so much. That was really wonderful. Thank you so much. That would be pretty awesome. True or not true? Yes? Hello? Thank you. You shook your head a little too excitedly, and that hurts my feelings. And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. I would love to do that. Okay? That hurts my feelings. Okay? However, if I started putting limitations like you're not allowed to punch me in the face, okay, Munson's now sad, I would like that noted, okay, that's good for me, bad for him. So, is the Concordia with the Pope good for the people or bad for the people? Good for the people, yes. Okay? Is it good for the church or bad for the church? Bad. We're starting to see more limitations on Catholic power in Europe. Remember, medieval is the best time to be in Catholic Church, right? We're starting to see that power diminish, diminish, diminish. Okay? And we're also going to have freedom of religion. Is that a big deal? They are the second country in the world to ever promise it. Who's the first? America. It's a very big deal. They're the first ones in Europe to do it. Very, very, very big deal. Okay, we have the Napoleonic Code, which you absolutely need to know. The Napoleonic Code has influenced every corner of the earth, darlings. It is even influenced here in the United States. Okay? Patriarchal, I don't think anyone's surprised. No? Okay, good. It's going to be the civil code. It's going to talk about legal. It's going to be equality in front of the law. Equality in front of the law. Okay? Obviously, who does this exclude? White women. It also excludes all people of color, by the way. So, if you're Hispanic, whatever, if you're not perfectly white, this excludes you as well. However, there is no freedom of the press. Okay, I think we can all agree. If you know nothing about Napoleon, you do know that he's an egotistical maniac, correct? Do you think egotistical maniacs like freedom of the press, where the press can write whatever they want within truth? No, so it's not going to go well. We're also going to have a secret police. So, under Napoleon, there's pros and cons. Can we agree? A lot of control is being reined in, but we're also seeing negative things on both sides, so it's going to go pretty well. So, he's going to start conquering territory, and he creates a massive empire. Creates a huge empire. He turns Europe upside down. Okay, creates massive empire. And this is going to have huge consequences, and Europe is going to take about 100 years to recover. Okay, just in time to break out for World War I. So, it is going to take over most of Western Europe. They're also going to have influences, which we saw on our map. Okay, he gets too cocky and invades where? Too cocky, invades Russia. How does that go for him? Oh, horrific. Absolutely horrific in 1812. And this will begin his decline. Gets cocky, invades Russia. It's the beginning of the decline. Okay, with that being said, how does Russia beat him? Does anyone know? Does anyone know what the Russians do? They do it again in World War II in front of Hitler. Huh? No. They don't quite wait. They do kind of wait it out. It's a slow process. The Russians are more than happy to starve themselves to death. As long as no one wins. As long as they don't lose. What they do is they do slash and burn technique. Okay, think about it. Napoleon is going to march into France. Do you think he's bringing enough food to feed his 800,000 people? No. So what is he expecting to do? Steal food, find food. Absolutely. When they walk through a field and there's cows in the field, what are all the soldiers going to do? They're going to kill the cows, eat the cows, that's what's going to feed the army, correct? So they're going to pick up stuff as they go. That's how militaries travel until the modern age, and we have those little microwave packs, you know what I mean? We don't have to do that so much. They still kill animals to eat them because the microwave pack is terrible. Anyway, with that being said, the slash and burn, what the Russians do, once they figure out they're being invaded, they burn their fields and they burn the crops and all the animals. What can't Napoleon do? He can't feed the troops. Who else can't eat? The Russians. So, millions of Russians are dying of starvation, but guess who doesn't win? The French. So, it's an embarrassing defeat. Napoleon can't feed his army. The people of Russia are just starving to death in their little huts in the burned field. And ta-da, it's going to collapse, that's what. So, what's going to happen is, after his failure, okay, he's going to, after he fails, he gets sent away to Elba. He is exiled, sent/exiled. What does exile mean? Yeah, you're not allowed to come back. He's a disgrace. Okay, he's exiled to Elba, which is a small island in the Mediterranean. He meets a pretty girl. I don't even know if she's pretty, but she had a boat, so it doesn't matter. Meets a girl with a boat, flirts with her. You know, they fall in love, and he's like, "Oh my God, boo! Best thing you could do is row me back to France." Okay, so you know, she's like, "Oh my God, Napoleon, absolutely." So they take a 3-day tour, and they get back to France, and Napoleon rides in the middle of the night, and then he walks into Paris in the central square, and he says, "What up, France? I'm back!" And France is like, "Yeah!" And they welcome him back. They welcome him back. He fails, gets sent to Elba. He comes back and becomes Emperor of France round 2. Have you ever been named emperor? Have you been named emperor twice? No, you haven't. Only Napoleon, because frankly, God, he's awesome. Becomes emperor a second time. A second time. It's important to know it's only 100 days, though. Now, my little man, Napoleon, do you think my man has an ego problem? So when he comes into power, what does he want to do? He wants to show everyone that he is Napoleon Bonaparte and he's a boss. So he decides to go straight to war. And his biggest rival, of course, is England. So he goes straight at England at this massive battle called the Battle of Waterloo. It's one of the most studied battles in the history of the world because he should have won. But he didn't win. He got bested by Beef Wellington, or Mr. Wellington, or Lord Wellington, or whatever it is. And he loses at the Battle of Waterloo. He loses at the Battle of Waterloo. He's then exiled a second time to Elba, not to Elba. He gets exiled to St. Helena, which is a much further island, and they make sure there's no boats on the island, and he dies in a drunken stupor as he falls down the stairs. Napoleon. What a guy. What a guy. So Napoleonic Code, you definitely need to know. He does not have freedom of press. It's going to take a long time for France to get that. Creates massive empires, a huge component. Concordia is a huge impactful thing. It's going to be a big deal later. And you need to know the consulate. Alright, to the board, since I'm clearly not doing the morning show today. On your whiteboard, please tell me please tell me, what is the official beginning of Napoleon's decline? What is the official beginning of Napoleon's decline? Good. What is it, Elizabeth? The invasion of Russia. When Napoleon rises into power, he creates what government? When Napoleon rises into power, what is the name of his government? Come on, come on, come on. What is it, Raina? Consulate. With the creation of the consulate and Napoleon's rise to power, what new government fails? What is the name of the previous government that was created in the Reign of Terror by Maximilian? This happens to fail. What fails, Munson? Directory. On your whiteboard, what is Napoleon's final battle? He will then hide his face in shame and exile for the second time. What is it, Ryan? Waterloo. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the law code that promises equality to all people? This is actually the most widely used law code in the current age, by the way. What is it? Bronson. Napoleonic Code. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is, what year does he become emperor for the first time? Good. What year? Karishma. 1802. Monday, you have 11 through 20 in a primary. Tuesday, 21 through 30, map in your primary are due. You need to get working on your focus and study guide. I hope you have enjoyed the French Revolution. Is this at least interesting?
Yes.
No? Just me and Zach are enjoying it? Cool. Cool. Zach, I knew you were my favorite.